Okay, good morning, everybody. Thank you for coming to this event. We're really grateful to see you here. Can I start by asking for your understanding to apologize because we're running a little bit late. To go straight to the point, the program for today, I think you have it. And I would like to say that we have some tea, coffee, and for those who haven't written their names, there is a registration book there. You can write your name, your address, and also, of course, your phone number. It will be very important for us for the follow-up. So please, let's start. I would like to call Mr. Ikeh to come and do the opening speech. Ikeh is the project coordinator of Africa Irish Development Initiative.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and good morning, Dr. Jean-Pierre. And just like Dr. Jean-Pierre said earlier on, we're very sorry that we are running a little late. It's not in our custom, but sometimes it will happen. And I'm just not going to keep you here much longer than expected. Thank you. Sorry, actually, we're waiting for the moderator who is coming from Dundalk and he's trying to run a minute late. He just sent a text message and he just around the corner and he'll be with us shortly. Be that as it may, I will start off by recognizing all the dignitaries here. First of all, His Excellency Mr. Richard Opembe, who is the Kenyan ambassador to Ireland, and His Excellency Dr. Bolere Elizabeth Ketebu, represented by the Deputy Ambassador, and His Excellency the South African Ambassador, represented here by Mr. Willivan, the Western, and the former MEP of Dublin, Emma Costello, and you've got a protocol of that, and we go straight away. This is the first time we have a detail like this, a discussion forum whereby we want to explore few things and few issues that, in regards to the African diaspora in Ireland, how we can actually measure up with our counterparts in Europe and all about see all of the faces here today. So, witness this making event, not discussion forum, as well as highly experienced professional speakers who have assisted to explore best practice after leading the African diaspora in Ireland and Europe. Sorry about that. As we all know, the African continent is becoming and is increasingly dependent on its diaspora to engage and re-engage with it. Rising commodity prices and rolling of foreign direct investment associated to a major increase of their percentage of the world and the opening of new markets has changed the economic landscape of Africa. However, has the foreign direct investment engaged African diaspora? Has humanitarian aid developed or underperformed in Africa? These are some of the things we're going to explore here today. The former Nigerian finance minister, Mrs. Ngojo Iweala, once noted that Africa will invest in Africa. This statement captures the growing impact of African diaspora engagement for the continent as Africa remains one of the substantial global growth hubs of economic, social, intellectual ability on a daily basis. The ICT platform are designed to connect emerging diaspora strategy and to mobilize the increasing capacity of African diaspora. To this effect, influential network and global active partnership in Africa diaspora engagement would convey the significance of African diasporas investing in Africa. Of course, there are ranges of complex and regional challenges of these new potentials. However, they are not insuperable. Africa is already providing the start to this solution by the capacity and potential of diaspora engagement is changing for good. The African Diaspora Forum is a policy strategy to enhance the policy dialogues in Africa, which are beginning to show incremental awareness of how to relate initiatives by harmonizing both sustainable sources of investment, capacity building, knowledge transfer between the West and Africa, given the multifaceted geographical, social, economic, and political environment of varying African regions. In order to deal with these difficulties, we can begin to shape new ways of engaging African diasporas. This platform, in collaboration with diaspora matters, world knowledge leaders in diaspora humanitarian aid, war-related issues of engagement based on the efficiency and effectiveness that will complement Africa. An effective African diaspora engagement must have the element of process participation in people. On a final note, a new approach based on realities must be developed based on Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade Strategy in Africa, which include building partnership on trade and investment and not aid, and implementing the strategy together with African diaspora in Ireland for mutual benefit. Ladies and gentlemen, to this note, I want to thank you all for coming today, and I want all of us to properly engage in all the discussions. Listen to our speakers because they are professional, highly developed in these areas, highly chosen, and this will begin the process of an engagement of African diasporas in discussion of gender matters between Ireland, African diasporas, and Africa. Thank you for coming.
Zeph. Now we would like to invite Mr. Kingsley Aikins, who is the chairman of Diaspora Matches, who will deliver a keynote speech. Mr. Kingsley.
Maybe I could just stay here. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
No, try without it. I spoke at an event a few weeks ago and I said, can everybody hear me? And the guy in the back put his hand up and said, I can hear you perfectly, but I'm willing to swap with somebody who can't. So you kind of put me in my place. So listen, thank you for the invitation today. And I'm going to talk about diaspora. It's not a very nice word, diaspora. I think it's kind of an ugly word. But there isn't any other word. It's a very precise word. It's actually two Greek words, dia meaning over, and spiro meaning scattering. It was a word that was first used with reference to the Jews exiled from Babylon in the 5th century. It goes back a long way. And historically, it was always connected with the Jewish tradition and with Israel. But over the last sort of 15, 20 years, this word has kind of gone mainstream. And it's now used by many, many countries. And the Migration Policy Institute of Washington reckons there's about 450 diaspora initiatives around the world involving over 75 countries. So what was once a little niche area is now something that countries all over the world are embracing. That's really interesting. And so what we're finding now is that countries realize that they have a resource. That actually there might be a difference between the nation and the state. So in Ireland, for example, the state is the 26 counties, with the lines on a map. But the nation is kind of like a global notion. We claim it's 70 million. Is it 70 million? It might be 70 million, it might be 60, 50, or 80 million. Who knows? Cares, so what? It's big. So we have an increasing sense that there is a global tribe, which is Irish. Is engaged all over the world. And you'll see how this country, and I'll talk a little bit about that, has begun to put in place some of the building blocks to embrace this global notion, to embrace what we call soft power. And that was a concept that Professor Joseph Nye at Harvard University wrote a book called Soft Power. And he said hard power is economic and military might, armies and all that kind of stuff. But actually soft power the ability to reach your objectives in life through attraction rather than coercion. So diaspora has become important for that. So my background is I ran an organization called the Ireland Funds, particularly the American Ireland Fund. I worked for them for 21 years, it was a big chunk of my life. But just to give you a sense of them and a hope for the future in many ways, I always think that nobody ever started a big company. Everything starts in a warehouse, in a garage, in a bedroom, whether it's Apple computers or Hewlett Packard or whatever. And so when the Ireland Fund started, it was just an idea that there was such a thing as an Irish empire around the world, built not by military force or economic might, but just by the fact that 10 million people left this country. In fact, we are a demographic oddity. There's no country in the world today whose population today is less than it was in the middle of the 19th century, except Ireland. So it's 10 million people have left this country. And in a way, that's the bad news. The good news is that they then create a series of linkages and connections around the world. And in fact, the countries that have lost the most to immigration are in the position to benefit the most by diaspora engagement. So this stuff is important. It's important now more than ever for a few reasons. Firstly, technology and communications are changing everything. My great-grandmother had 3 children, and she said goodbye to them. They emigrated to Australia, and she never saw them again. Those days are over. In fact, I think the word emigration is not fit for purpose anymore. If you actually look at the statistics between the year 2010 and 2014, 80,000 people left this country. Lots of articles say what a terrible tragedy. 252,000 of them were not Irish. So there are people who come here, spend some time, moved on, just like Irish people go to other places and move on. 170,000 people moved into Ireland. At the height of the Celtic Tiger, when this country was booming, there was no unemployment. 40,000 people a year left Ireland. So we're an island off an island. It's wet and foggy, and kids are going to live a long time. So I actually think governments should encourage our people to go away, to travel the world, particularly if they learn languages, and then come back. And that's what's happening. I've got kids who are all over the world. My sister's got 4 kids all over the world. That's kind of, we are a somewhat mobile race, the Irish. So we are a bit of a wandering tribe. All over the place. Technology means you can be here and there. In the old days, geography dictated your identity. If you lived in Southern California, that's what you were. But now, because of technology, you can lead a hyphenated life. You can be Canadian and Polish. You can be Australian and Scottish. You can be, here's a nice one, British and Irish. You can be American and Greek. And right now, Greece needs all the help they can get. And they are looking to this diaspora for leadership. One of the interesting phenomena of the last period of time is how what I call them is successful rock star business people in the United States are identifying back with their country of origin. I'll give you an example. Indra Nooyi is 54 years of age. She's the CEO of PepsiCo. She was born in India, educated in India, spent all her period after university in India, worked for Johnson & Johnson, then went to the US, did a PhD, went to Yale, joined the consulting group, joined the Times, Pepsi, she's now CEO of Pepsi. But here's what's interesting. Indra Nooyi was head of the US-India Business Council. Dr. Kent is the head of Coca-Cola. He's head of the US-Turkey Business Council. Andrew Liveris is the head of Dow Chemicals. He's head of the US-Greek Business Council. Craig Barrett was the head of Intel. He was head of the, still is, Irish Technology Leadership Group, networking the Irish technology specialists and people in Silicon Valley back with their home country. So this is new. In the old days, if you did that in America, you were regarded as a little bit disloyal. But now we say geography is history. And now you can be here and there. You can lead a hiking in life. You can engage in these different countries. You can lead transnational lives. So this is interesting. So I said diaspora is another new word, and vocabulary is important. So I think immigration is a word not fit for purpose. So here's another word which is toxic right now. That's the word migration. The word migration conjured up visions and images of boats full of people scrambling to survive the passage from North Africa and get to Italy. As you know, thousands of them drowned. That's a tragic, tragic story. That's the image of migration. The reality is, migrants drive Western economies. If we didn't have migrants, whole industries would collapse, like agriculture in the United States. The reality is that migrants pay more for taxes than they receive for benefits. The reality is that they create more companies than the local. The reality is they're better educated than the local. And we are totally not dependent, but that's not the narrative that we're hearing in the media now. So we have a sort of a challenge. Vocabulary, as I said, is important. So why is diaspora important? Why does diaspora matter, as I said? I got involved with the Ireland Funds, and as I said, nobody started a big company. It was an idea two guys had. One was Tony O'Reilly, a businessman, and Dan Rooney, who was the US ambassador, in Toronto recently, owns the Pittsburgh Steelers. Dan Rooney's forebears came from Newry, Pittsburgh. Another family's forebears came from Newry, went to Pittsburgh, and they were the Mellors. They went into banking. Dan Rooney went into football, the Pittsburgh Steelers. And they had this idea, the two of them, that maybe there was an Irish diaspora that could be, in some way, cultivated and engaged to connect back to Ireland. In those days, this is go back to the 70s, we had an awful conflict in Northern Ireland. At the height of the conflict, 700-800 people were dying. And so they set up this organization. They had a black tie fundraising dinner in New York. They wasn't sure would this idea fly. The first dinner of the Ireland Club was so unsuccessful, the only reason they had a second dinner a year later was to pay for the first dinner they had. We had a slogan. We were based on what the Jewish community had done for Israel. Our our slogan was peace, culture, charity. And then we decided to change it. Look Irish, dress British, think Yiddish. If you get those three things in a row, then maybe something would happen. What happened after that unsuccessful start? That this organization grew, developed. It's now in 39 cities around the world, it's in 13 countries. So it suddenly turned into a very powerful network. And that's the most important word, is networks and network. So I'll come back to that. I'll park that concept and take this up to 80,000 feet. You asked four big questions, which is what made China the world's great manufacturing powerhouse? What made India an extraordinary technology center? What made Israel the world's number 2 startup country? It went from being a purely agricultural country now to being the hot startup country in the world. And in our case, what helped bring peace to Northern Ireland? Well, the answer to those four questions is the same. It's networking for diasporas. When you say diaspora is jobs, governments and people listen. Because what happens is when you engage your diaspora, you begin that process. It's actually like a pyramid of engagement. You get people in at the bottom in remittances. And remittances is a global phenomenon. So remittances is absolutely massive. So it's $560 billion in remittances last year. That's what went through the banking system. We know lots more went in other ways. But what's interesting about remittances, they don't go to a country. Remittances go to a family. They go from people to people. Technology is reducing the cost of remittances. The average cost now is 8.9%, so down to 15. It's still got a way to go. But telephony and digital telephony is going to reduce that dramatically in the years to come. When I was growing up, the big ships of money in the world were ODA, Official Development Assistance, big chunks of governmental money, multilateral organizations pushing money. Now, the big ships of money in the world, frightening, they're triple ODA. As I said, they go into families, they go directly into consumption, they go directly into purchasing things, buying things, paying for education, for food, for clothes, and for travel. So that is an extraordinary phenomenon of our time. And as you evolve up the diaspora relationship chart, you move from purely remittances, you have also philanthropy, space I was familiar with. Then you get involved with business development. You get involved with all sorts of other categories of engagement. And suddenly countries begin to realize that they have something which I call diaspora capital. The country possesses diaspora capital. And I define that as the overseas resources available to a country, city, location, organization, and place. And it's made up of flows of people, of knowledge, and of finance. So countries have diaspora capital in varying degrees. And this capital can be used in lots of different ways. It can be used, we touched about remittances, it can be used for philanthropy, it can be used for investment, for trade, for education, for tourism, for sport, for mentoring, for volunteering, lots of different ways. So that becomes really powerful. The countries which have done this best, there's probably four: China, Israel, Ireland, and India. I'm getting science to finish up, so I'll just give you one example. So I think the country that's possibly most interesting in this space is actually India. Because up till 2002, India had no relationship with its diaspora. In fact, it had a relationship. India hated its diaspora, the diaspora hated India. But in that year, Manmohan Singh, who's the Minister of Foreign Affairs, decided to start a high-level commission. They spent 18 months, they traveled the world, they wrote a report, you can read it, it's online, it's 700 pages. And the Indian diaspora said to India, you're corrupt and you are over-bureaucratic. And Manmohan Singh, to his credit, brought about a huge number of changes. He introduced the Ministry of Overseas Indian Affairs. He set up the OIFC, the Office of Indian Facilitation Center for Trade and Investment. He introduced a new passport called an OCI, an Overseas Citizen of India. They started a conference every January called the Paradesi Bharatiya, of 3,000 Indian CEOs from around the world came back to India. TIE, TIE is the biggest business network in the world. It's the Indus Entrepreneurs, the Indian network, and the business network in the world. So what's happened? India has created a sense of global Indianness. which has changed our whole sense of the country. I didn't think of India when I was growing up as being incredibly smart, incredibly educated, incredibly technology driven, and yet that's what India was. The Indian diaspora in the United States has been phenomenally successful. The Indian diaspora in the United States, on average, earn over $90,000 a year. The resident Americans, on average, earn $50,000. So Indians are driving major corporations that are connected back to the United States. So I know I have to finish up to talk to you this. To endorse if you're interested in that. Firstly, I've written a Diaspora Studies Toolkit, which is on the Diaspora Matters website, so it's available to anybody who wants to do that. And then I do have this concept of diaspora capital. I'm going to just maybe just take one and pass it on. So I know you have a busy day coming up, so I look forward to hearing the rest of it. And thanks very much for your
Thank you, Mr. Aikins. We're going to pass to move to our other speakers. May I ask you, please, to come and sit here, please? Can I call the representative of Nigerian Embassy to Ireland? The person who will be speaking to Mr. John Halligan. Mr. John Halligan. Is he not there? Okay. Miss Edna. Daniel Ramamuti. Is he there? No? Ina? Okay. Just for a good time management, I would allocate to everybody. I would allocate to everybody, let's say, 10 minutes, 5 minutes to speak, and then half of the minutes just in case we didn't have enough time. Okay? Great. So, can I ask to the Nigerian ambassador?
Good afternoon. Shall I utilize my name? I'm the Deputy Education of the Embassy of Nigeria to Ireland. The ambassador had another pressing engagement, so she asked me to come and present her here. Let me quickly start off by saying that Africa has always been the centerpiece of Nigeria's foreign policy. As such, Nigeria supports any initiative that will aid African development. For example, during the last Irish Economic Forum held there in Dublin in October last year, Nigeria had the highest number of delegates, and they participated actively in all the proceedings of the forum. This shows the importance that Nigeria attaches to any program that will aid the development of Africa. So, consequently, the African-Irish initiative should be assured of Nigeria's active support. And I can also pledge here that Nigeria will participate actively in all the programs of this development initiative, which is invited to do so. Now, coming to the issue of diaspora. As can be imagined, Nigeria with a population of 130 million people has a very large representation in the diaspora, including in Ireland itself. And Nigerians in the diaspora have been contributing their own fair share to the development of their host countries. In the Nigerian experience, I can say that it is a fact that the money being transferred home by Nigerians working in the diaspora form a significant part of Nigeria's foreign exchange earnings. Of course, after oil. This brings home the fact that Nigeria is benefiting from its citizens in the diaspora. That's just to support what the last speaker spoke about the diaspora capital. Furthermore, there are many Nigerians who acquired special skills during their sojourn abroad. And then I can say that quite a number of them have returned to Nigeria to set up highly specialized businesses, thereby contributing their own quota to the development of their country. This also goes to support what the last speaker said about the diaspora capital. So, I will not be able to delve into, I can only talk about broad ideas. I will not be able to delve into specific details, even numbers and figures. What I would just like to say is that there is no doubt that Africans in the diaspora form a significant part of their country's development. Like I said, in Nigeria, the money they transfer home, has formed a significant part of Nigeria's foreign exchange earnings. We've also returned them to set up businesses that are aiding in the development of Nigeria by employing people and so on and so forth. So I will just conclude by saying that all African countries must cut their disciplines in the diaspora as they are invaluable to the development of the continent. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Can I go now? Is Edna Lyatuu to come and deliver the presentation?
Good afternoon, everyone. I have a great honor to be invited to speak here today at this very important event. I've been asked to touch on the significance of African diaspora direct investment in the development of Africa. While African countries have over 30 million migrants across the globe, and this is without including the unrecorded second and third generation of migrants. So the figure is significantly high. African migrant contribution to Africa recently is estimated to be about $40 billion US, and the figure is expected to be even higher this year. But strange enough, the contribution does not, for example, the savings for African migrants globe is estimated to be about 43 billion US dollars. So the money is actually not invested in Africa. And this is what we are trying to encourage Africa diaspora to actually invest in Africa. Africa is ready for investment. Africa is mature now, and they have hungry for investment. They want to partner with people, with Africa diaspora to do business. Their contribution goes beyond personal contribution, ranging from collective contribution to philanthropic activities, knowledge exchange, and increased trade links and better access to foreign capital markets. It is estimated that some people always have this view about Africa, that maybe the continent is not ready, maybe the continent is not mature enough. But let me tell you this. I had a meeting with my ambassador in London, and also I had a meeting with my prime minister in Tanzania from Tanzania, and this is what they told me to spread the wealth. Like Tanzania, for example, is part of Africa. It's ready to invest. We need investors in oil and gas. We need investors in agribusiness, ICT, tourism, and so many other sectors. We have infrastructure is perfect, and we need people to actually know Africa diaspora and other business people to actually think of Tanzania, for example, or Africa as a whole, like a place to be. Dar es Salaam, the commercial city of Tanzania, for example, is the fifth fastest growing economy in the world at the moment. So this says it all. So I think, and if you remember in the news, presidents of the great economies in the world have all visited Tanzania, from President Obama to Chinese and other Emirates. So this is a sign that there's something special about Tanzania. So we need people, Africa diaspora, when you do it well, when you have some money to invest, or even other businesses, to think of Africa. I know everyone now is talking about China and the other parts of the world, but to be honest, Africa is actually an emerging economy, and we are ready to do business. I think what I would say is gone is the time of aid to Africa, and now is the time to do business in Africa. We need partners. We need people to view Africa differently. And I know the previous speaker said the way Africa sometimes maybe is portrayed in the media here is actually in a way negative. It does not do it any favor. I'm a journalist from Tanzania. I know too well. Sometimes people just try to speak maybe in a different way to attract the audience and something like that. But I think Africa has so much to offer, and I think people should think about it as the next step to invest as opposed to maybe Asia and other parts of the world. So what I'd like to see happening is Africa diaspora to view Africa as a business partner rather than an aid receiver. So it's developed well to do it that way as well. Just to view it as a mature continent and to partner doing business together and view it as equals as opposed to a place where we need to provide aid. I think we are ready for investors and we want to do business with developed world and this is being an aid receiver. Africa is a pool of skilled, determined, and ambitious people. We have so much to offer. Africans to be the doers of their own businesses. Africa diaspora, we had a good example of how much Indians across the globe are doing for their country. I think we can do the same. And this is a good beginning of that journey. We still have a lot to do, but nothing is impossible. If we are determined, we can make it happen. Gone is the time of importing Western voices, and now is the time of sharing and transferring skills and knowledge. I think it's about time people think of Africa as the next step, as the next place to be. As you know, I'm a poet and a journalist, so I couldn't miss a chance to compose something about Africa. So here we go. Africa to me stands for strength and resilience. A continent that is ready to take action. A continent with no fear. A continent made of brave people. And a continent determined determined to bring positive impact to its people, and a continent with a can-do attitude. And Africa, to me, is definitely a continent that deserves to be admired by all mankind. So let's do business with Africa. Let's cut down on aid. We want investment. We want to partner. We are ready for that. Thank you very much.
Can I ask Mr. Daniel Zamamuti to come and join? And Mr. Aikins, would you mind? Good. Mr. Zamamuti, this is your turn to make.
Check. I wish it was a stand-up comic. So I can entertain you with a good joke. Anyone have a good joke? You do? No.
At least you know what the code is now.